Here's the Seeburg LS-2 jukebox. This is a jukebox that we're working on at Retro Electronics. This is the inside of the amplifier here. I've replaced all the electrolytic capacitors in here. This top module lifts off, and also there's two preamp modules down there. I replaced the caps on. Put in new power supply filter caps and speaker output caps. I increase the capacitance for extra bass response. There's the bottom view of the amp. Here's the amp inserted back into the cabinet. I'll go ahead and push it back all the way. It slides in on these rails here. And the speaker, muting, and phono connections hook up here. I've got the reject connections already hooked up to it. So next we'll take a look at the control center. I'll take that out. Also the coin unit, I think had one capacitor. The credit unit had one capacitor in it. So I'll also replace that. Here's the inside of the control center. This has paper capacitors in it originally, plus electrolytics. I replaced all of those. This section is the auto speed generator here, which in this model runs in 45 or runs in 33 mode only. The older ones ran the auto speed generator in 45 to increase the frequency of the motor. This one actually decreases the frequency of the motor when playing an LP. Put in new electrolytics here and replaced all the paper caps in the tormat part of the circuitry, and cleaned the relay contacts in here. Underneath this cover is a relay, and there's a paper capacitor in there, which I also replaced. Here's the inside of the credit unit. It had one electrolytic capacitor that I replaced. All three of these modules slide in and out on tracks, and they lock into place at a stop with this locking device here. It'll lock there, and then it can go in a little more if you push this in and push the module forward. I think that's actually as far as this module goes in. So now I'll reconnect all the connectors, and we can demonstrate the jukebox in operation. Still need to take the mechanism out and clean and degrease it though.
You've been waiting much too long now. Don't know when she's coming home. Still, you've been loyal, true and faithful. All this time with me alone. If I could get that same dedication, I'd give you everything in creation. If she doesn't come back, I'll be a substitute whenever you want me. But don't you know I'll be a substitute whenever you need me.
Now that indicates a little bit of a problem with the clutch, not wanting to go back into scan mode, so definitely need to clean and re-lubricate the mechanism. Let's see if it'll go ahead and scan now. No. That can happen when the mechanism gets gummed up and it can't shift from the play mode back into scan. There it goes. See, it was just gummy. There was no record in that slot. Let's see if it'll go to the next last one here. So the next thing I do is just pull this mechanism out and clean it, and it shouldn't have that problem anymore. Here's the mechanism in the service position. You just pull the tray out. First thing you need to do is to unlatch these orange latches here. You just lift them up so you can slide the mechanism forward and keep it in the upright position if you only need to maybe replace the stylus, or if you don't need to get to the back of the mechanism. But then to service the back of the mechanism, you can pull the shelf forward some more and tilt it forward like this at an angle, and this chain here keeps it from falling over. So now we can degrease the mechanism very easily without having to disassemble the whole thing out of the cabinet. So we'll clean this up. The clutch is down in here, let's see here, see if we can see it. It's down under there, and the mechanism transfers from scanning to play. We might have to actually get the mechanism over to the end to really be able to see it. But some of the service points to check on this are the motor coupler. Make sure it's not deteriorated. Got oil ports on the motor, and then just clean and lubricate the camshaft mechanism back in here. And I think to get at the clutch, we'll have to get the mechanism scanned over to the end so we can see it. We've now got the Seeburg mechanism scanned to the end of its travel, and you can see the clutch mechanism is down in here. And this clutch mechanism shifts the way the mechanism works from either scanning or transferring and playing the record. If the clutch gets jammed or it can't move up and down freely, the machine will stay in the play position and it'll just keep repeating the record over and over. So I'm going to clean all these components in here. Back here, especially on this gear, you can see some hardened grease right back in there. So I've got some cleaning solvent. We're using Aero Magnolia DP contact cleaner. Gum out is a little stronger, but you just have to be more careful with it because it's just more aggressive. So I think the DP contact cleaner ought to work. I'm going to get the Q-tips in there, clean all the old gunk out, and then I think I'll start by relubricating with LS-2. And that ought to get the clutch mechanism going again. There's some dirt back on that mechanism there. So first step to do is to get it all cleaned up. Now I have the mechanism degreased, so I'll demonstrate the operation of the jukebox. Insert the coin. I relubricated with LS-2 and put zoom spout in the motor.